Hello, it is I, the Lore Raider. Quick update, I'm heading back to my home for break, but the downside is that my house's Wi-Fi is absolute garbage, meaning it will be harder to get videos out. For example, here at my university, I can get a video out and downloaded on YouTube in about 4 minutes. At my house, it's taken 4 hours, so not fun. But I'll try my best to get part 4 of my Metroid timeline work done. I'd love to get it out by Christmas, but of course no promises. Anyway, I didn't want to leave you guys without a video over such a long stretch of time, so here I am with another debunking video, something that you guys seem to like. Today I'm responding to Rewind Rumble's video on Samus vs. Mega Man X. Unlike Midnight or Danko, who I have lambasted in the past as being sickeningly biased and terrible at their jobs, I actually respect Rewind Rumble, and I think they did a fair job, and this is by far my toughest opponent I've ever faced. Unlike Danko, who didn't do any scaling at all, Rewind Rumble has, and at least up to my limited research confirms, they've done the research regarding Mega Man X, and they haven't actually downplayed Samus nearly as far as previous people have. Still, I disagree with their outcome and their scaling of Samus overall, so I'll be giving my response today. I highly recommend seeing their video, which I will link down below in the description, as this response will not show actually most of the video. It won't show the backstory, it won't show the animated fight, we're just going to talk about the scaling and the conclusion. Without further ado though, let's hear what Rewind Rumble has to say about Samus' speed scaling.
Samus was able to react in combat with Meta Ridley. Meta Ridley outraced Samus' ship, which was able to dodge attacks from it. He was also able to successfully attack it himself. So just how fast is Samus' ship? Samus was able to fly out of the Milky Way into the Tetra Galaxy within no more than a few months to at most under 1 year, since she didn't actually age during the traveling trip. We can't pinpoint the exact distance between the two galaxies, but we do know that if galaxies are too close to each other, they would merge into one big galaxy due to gravity. So at minimum, these galaxies have to be at least 25,000 light years apart. And of course, a galaxy merge will take millions of years to happen anyway. That's just how big these two things are. Samus' ship traveled at least 25,000 light years in under a year. 25,000 divided by 12 is roughly 2,083 light years, so she would need to travel 2,083 light years each month, or 69 light years each day, or 2.8 light years an hour. There are roughly 5.8 trillion miles in 1 light year. 5.8 trillion miles times 2.8 light years means Samus' ship at slowest was traveling 16.9 trillion miles per hour, or 25,202 times the speed of light. Now this is not Samus' travel speed, it's her ship's, and it's Ridley's travel speed since he outflew the ship. It's also Ridley's reaction and combat speed, since he can dodge homing attacks from the ship and also attack the ship head-on himself. Samus can't scale to Ridley's travel speed, at least not without preparation or power-ups, but she can scale to his reaction and combat speed, meaning Samus can react and fight at 16.9 trillion miles per hour. Mega Man X is also quite...
So you guys might be wondering why I'm not covering the Mega Man scaling in my video. It's because A, you can see the numbers they use on screen for their portion, so it's convenient for you to compare and contrast what I'm saying to what they said, and B, like I said, there are 4 videos in the description below, so if you really want to know their logic, feel free to click on that video. Anyway, the first thing I personally noticed when they did Samus' speed, that they seem to intentionally use the lowest, weakest, most Debbie Downer downplay for Samus' speed among what I've seen. Keep in mind, Rewind Rumble recognizes the Samus and Joy manga, and the manga blows this argument apart by itself, so it honestly seemed to me they were intentionally downplaying the speed argument to keep her in Mega Man's weight class. But so let's start with the obvious. How fast is Samus' gunship really? Because that's what's most important. We know for an absolute fact it didn't take months or years for Samus to make the journey. Samus and Joy are shown traveling to the Extreme Galaxy in the span of a single conversation. A rather short conversation at that. Assuming the conversation was roughly 10 minutes or so, the trip has been calced to either a conservative 130 billion times the speed of light, or to a whopping 1.5 quadrillion times the speed of light. Even if you took the low-balled conservative estimate, that still blows Rewind Rumble's calc out of the water. By the way, this isn't even Samus's true speed yet, we'll get to that later. Now next, the video claims Samus was incapable of scaling to Ridley's running/flying speed as Ridley raced against her gunship. They'd be right if this was base Samus with no upgrades. This is not base Samus with no upgrades. Let's examine the infamous race scene from the Samus and Joey manga. The situation is that Samus' speed booster has been implanted into a pirate ship. The ship was relative to Samus' gunship while both were in their base form. Then, however, when the speed booster was activated, it allowed the pirate vessel to massively outstrip the already billions to quadrillions of times faster than light vessels. So if we give this conservative amp a 3 times amp, let's say, this is 390 billion to 4.77 quadrillion times the speed of light. Samus, literally in her base power suit, not even her Various suit, her base power suit with no speed booster, is able to react to and destroy that ship, meaning at least her reaction speed and her travel speed of her projectiles are ludicrous. Then give this Samus the speed booster with another times 3 amp. At minimum, at the very minimum, at the lowest end, her reaction speed is 1,170 billion times the speed of light, and at most, 14.31 quadrillion times the speed of light. Remember, this is literally base power suit Samus with the speed booster. In the manga, she hadn't even gotten the Various suit or the gravity suit yet, which could also be potential speed amps. Honestly, it amazes me people sleep on Samus' speed as badly as they do, but let's see what my man Rewind Rumble has to say about attack potency and durability.
Is easily solar system level as he was able to generate black holes with output dwarfing supernovas. Far stronger than Gravity Beetle, he helped defeat Lumine, who collapsed a pocket dimension that included a sun. His durability is also solar system level as he tanked hits from Lumine and can create black holes with himself at a focal point. As for Samus, she is at least small star level as she defeated Dark Samus, who can survive the destruction of Dark Aether, which was converted to energy when beaten and nearly killed. She was also able to freeze a star with her own ice beam. So while Samus has consistent star level feats, Mega Man X has consistent solar system level feats which are slightly above star level because those contain a star plus planets and an asteroid belt. Overall, Mega Man...
So when I watch this part, again knowing the video referenced the manga explicitly, it makes me wonder if these people went to Versus Battle Wiki and just called it a day. If they did, that's really sad, and if you watch any criticism of that website, you know you don't take that place at face value, trust me. I want to establish a chronology of Samus' power scaling that goes well above solar system level, to show consistency in said scaling. Starting with Metroid Prime Hunters, Samus scales directly to a weakened Guria. This is already a crucial detail as full-powered Guria casually no-diffed the Olympic race, a species comparable to the Chozo, who built Samus' armor, and as seen by the likes of Ravenbeak and Metroid Dread, Prime Chozo, and by extension Olympics, individually were universal. So Prime Guria scales supremely casually above the species, therefore weakened Guria scales very consistently with individual Olympic/Chozo, as it took Samus using the most powerful Olympic weapon, the Omega Cannon, to defeat the monster. To repeat, Prime Olympics scaled to Prime Chozo, who scaled to Samus via Metroid Dread. Weakened Guria tanks shots with the Olympic's strongest weapon, wielded specifically by Samus, therefore Samus and Guria do scale to each other. We know everyone mentioned above as casually universal due to the manga feat I love more than any other. By the end of the Samus and Joy manga, Guria attains the power of black holes that were going to destroy the universe, but the ability overpowered his durability and killed him. Samus then obtained the ability of white holes, and with a single white hole, she stretched it across the entire Metroid universe. Unlike Greed, who literally died, Samus is shown immediately after not having taken a single shred of damage, not so much as a sweat drop on her brow. SAX scales to this Samus directly because she's a copy of that Samus, as does Ravenbeak in Metroid Dread. Therefore, the average Olympic warrior would have also scaled to this Samus somewhat, Therefore, weakened Guria and Prime Hunter Samus also should scale at universe level. Finally, we move back to Metroid Prime 2 to the Dark Aether fiasco. On top of the scaling we just established, it is obvious based on how Dark Aether is narratively a mirror dimension of the regular universe, how the planet would need at least a star to fuel its economy and to maintain its gravity, and how a star would explain why Samus without a Varisuit doesn't instantly freeze to death when she steps foot on the planet, or why otherwise the planet isn't a frozen block of ice without a star. That all signs altogether point to Dark Aether being an alternate universe instead of a pocket dimension to the Prime universe. It also fits neatly into my casually universal argument, as the Dark Samus who tanked the collapse was on death's door, as she was just defeated by Samus Aran herself and was reduced to literal Phazon dust, then tanked the collapse and was just fine. So, again, everything just kind of points to a very casually universal high tier status. Now enough about me, let's see how my man Rewind Rumble concludes his video.
Mega Man X takes this win for having a higher power output and durability. He's also 9 times faster. One could argue that Samus is the more skilled fighter, but when you're 9 times faster, which is technically over millions of miles times faster, your skill really wouldn't have an effect at that point. Combat skill really only has a critical advantage if speed and power are relatively similar if not equal. In this case, the speed and power output are not close at all, and it's not like Mega Man X is some chump. He's quite skilled himself. Samus is only arguably more skilled, not definitively more skilled, making the winner of this Rumble, Mega Man X.
For those of you who didn't see on screen, Rewind Rumble and most websites I've seen place Mega Man X at about solar system level with faster than light speeds, a couple 100,000 times the speed of light to be precise. But when you compare it to casually universe Samus and ludicrously billions to quadrillions of times faster than light, even without the speed booster, you can see why I consider this to be an ultimately one-sided fight. Honestly, I think it's time people start treating Samus like a character who can literally contend with the big boys, like Goku, for example. In terms of raw power, both characters are so hilariously and casually above Universal at this point, it's pretty much agreed that Goku would practically, for all intents and purposes, be low multiversal, and Samus, in my opinion, should be treated the same way. Anyway, I do think Rewind Rumble made a respectable effort here, and I encourage you to check out their content, as I am a big fan of their channel and content overall. Who knows, if people want it, maybe I'll attempt Samus vs. Goku and get murdered by Swag Kage in the future. Not sure how I go about it, but it could be fun. Until next time though, have a happy holidays, and I'll see you next time.